The following program is presented by the Theosophical Society in America.
Welcome to this series on Foundations of the Ageless Wisdom. I'm Dana Ivey. Anyone who has spent even a little time browsing through theosophical writings will see that there are wonderful treasures of wisdom to discover. And yet, with so much available, how is one to begin an intelligent study of theosophy? What should one read? And how does one interpret the sometimes obtuse statements made by early theosophical writers? How does any of this information apply to daily life? In this 5-part series, Ed Abdill attempts to establish a foundation for theosophical study. He will explore insights he has garnered in over 35 years as a member of the Theosophical Society. These 5 programs were recorded in front of a studio audience and are based on lectures Ed has been giving for many years, both in New York City, where he lives, and throughout the country. Much of his time will be spent introducing us to and exploring the 3 fundamental propositions given in Madame Blavatsky's proem to The Secret Doctrine. Such an approach is not without merit. Blavatsky herself, when speaking to students, said that reading The Secret Doctrine page by page, as one reads any other book, will only end in confusion. The first thing to do, she said, even if it takes years, is to get some grasp of the 3 fundamental principles given in the proem. Ed will be using these 3 propositions, as well as other theosophical ideas, to develop a framework for a theosophical worldview. What we hope emerges is a kind of theosophical lens through which one can explore life more fully. Throughout, Ed will be correlating this worldview with modern scientific theories. It is also hoped that you will take advantage of the study guide which accompanies this videotaped series. Exercises follow each program. By doing these, either as part of a study group or individually at home, you may greatly enrich your understanding of the concepts presented in the programs. In any event, have fun with these materials. They are intended solely as guideposts for your own individual explorations of the ageless wisdom. For now, however, let's go to Ed Abdill for part 1 of Foundations of the Ageless Wisdom.
In approaching this course, one might reasonably ask, how can an understanding of the most abstract principles have anything to do with or any use in our personal life? Isn't it really enough just to live a kind, productive, wholesome life? Isn't it really enough just to love? Isn't it really enough just to be good? Well, maybe it is. But what is the good? That really is not so easy to answer, perhaps. To do the good, it seems to me, we must know what the good is. Let's take a very simple example. Let's say that a very kind-hearted woman living in New York City loves plants very dearly. And she's given a flowering plant one day that is just beautiful. And she loves it very, very much indeed. And she wants to do good by that plant. And so she assumes that the plant should be watered every day faithfully. She loves it. She talks to it. She sings to it. Everything she can think of. but faithfully waters it every day. And at the end of a week or two, the plant is dead. Why? It was a cactus. She didn't know what the good was. Even if we want to do the good, you see, we must know what it is in order to do it. That seems obvious when we think about it, but we don't very often. In this course, what we'd like to do is to point the student toward what we might call the ultimate good. We're not going to spell it out, but we want to point the student in the direction of the ultimate good, that they might come to reach it, understand it in some way in their own experience and being. We're not talking about the sentimental good with which we're all familiar. We're not talking about the good that changes from person to person, from culture to culture, because it's defined differently, isn't it, by different cultures and by different people. One person thinks one thing is good and the other person thinks that's not good. We're trying to point the students toward an ultimate source of good, really in Plato's sense, not that sentimental sense, but in Plato's sense of the good, which means the eternal, that which never changes, that which is immutable, unspeakable, unthinkable, the ground and source of being. That's the good to which we want to turn our attention.
Madame H.P. Blavatsky, co-founder of the Theosophical Society, refers to this ultimate good in the first fundamental proposition as, quote, an omnipresent, eternal, boundless, and immutable principle on which all speculation is impossible, since it transcends the power of human conception and could only be dwarfed by any human expression or similitude. It is beyond the range and reach of thought. In the words of the Mandukya Upanishad, unthinkable and unspeakable, unquote. This omnipresent, eternal, and boundless principle, referred to by Madame Blavatsky, is said to be similar to the notion of the pre-Big Bang void of modern physics.